Hey everyone, bloodmako here, and this is my video for the brothers Lufenia. So for my team comp, I actually brought Cloud Darkness, Garland, and Porom. I have not used Porom in any of my videos, and I decided to use her for this particular fight. So as you guys know, if you watch my pool video, I actually managed to get Cloud of Darkness burst, and I wouldn't say it's very useful in this particular fight, mainly because her burst is an AoE follow-up, and the brothers only has, well, when they combine they are counted as one unit, so it doesn't really matter whether it's AoE or not. And it doesn't really help with the Orb Condition as well. The more useful mechanic was her LD into her S2. I actually brought Tifa instead of Porom, but I didn't really understand. I missed the part where they asked you to delay the particular character, the particular boss. I believe it's called Sekrat. I have no idea how to pronounce that. He is the one on the left, the bigger one, and you have to delay him 3 turns. And that's actually basically the mechanic for the Orb as well. You can either delay him by 1, which will only increase the Orb count by 2. Basically 1 if you think about it, because you take a turn, you -1, and then it increases by 2, so it's only it only goes up by 1. And the other condition for the Orb is to delay them 3 turns, and that will increase the Orb count by 5, I believe. And that's actually not a lot, but it gives you some breathing room. So basically this the entire fight is mainly catered to Cloud Darkness. What you want to do is, when they always open up with you preventing Brave Gain. Basically they prevent you from getting Brave Gain, and they want you to immediately use her LD and her S2. So yeah, that will allow all the Brave Gains back. And I actually brought Tifa. I believe I can't remember whether I said it earlier, but yeah, I actually brought Tifa. And you know, doing her usual rotation, I realized that she wasn't getting any Brave, so I thought I was doing something wrong. And I actually took her out and brought Porom instead, and it's only then that I realized that we need to delay them by 3 turns. So I believe you need to do that for a total of actually I'm not exactly sure, because I believe that yes, they will create, or they will do that Brave gain prevention only after they do their recast. So if you can just permanently delay them all the way and prevent. It is difficult, but I think it's possible to just prevent them from getting a turn. And I was already explaining the mechanics earlier as now. So the thing is that there are not many characters that are able to delay the bosses by 3 turns. And right now in global, I believe the only 2 characters is Cloud Darkness, and I believe it is Quistis. I'm not exactly sure if there's any other character that can delay by 3. But I know that Quistis with her limit break weapon is able to delay by 3. Cloud can only delay by 2. So there's not a lot of character choices or variation over here. But with Quistis, it is very highly possible. It is very possible to do it, especially if you're running Garland, because with his auras and his AoE delay, if you're using his S2 or his LD, or yeah, you can. It is very manageable as long as you time Quistis S2 just nice when you need to. Basically, only when you need to prevent the Brave, to get rid of the Brave reduction, or when the Orb count is getting too low. So it is possible to do it with Quistis. And actually for this video I didn't use my summon at all. That is actually it's not a brag or anything. I mean, I just wanted to see if I was able to finish it without using the summon, and I finished it at about 60 something turns. So if you're running Quistis, I would recommend that if you can just hold off the summon until when you really need to delay them, or when you really need Quistis to take a turn and she's not coming up anytime soon. Because these bosses are, at least at the beginning stage, they are actually quite fast. And if the bigger boss go, B, if he goes first, he will actually pull A forward. So that's something to be quite careful of. A will never pull B forward, or at least it didn't happen when when I was doing this fight, but it's always B. So when they actually combine, there's no more forward, and you basically delay them into oblivion. The only thing is the op count, because even if you bring unless you bring every single delay character, in the sense that every single one of your party member is able to delay with their skills, something like Gaia, then yes, then you don't have to worry about the op count. But as long as there's one character that is not delaying, the op will constantly be ticking down. Sorry. So yeah, I would recommend that you bring Cloud Darkness. Even if you don't have her LD, you kind of need her zero form particle beam, her S2, when as a emergency button when you need to delay them or increase the op count by 5 so that you have more breathing room. So how Cloud of Darkness work is very similar to how Lightning always wants to have to get all the breaks. So her unique buff on top, or it's not really a buff, her stacks at least, you want it to always be 5, or rather at 5 or 10. Basically yeah, 5 or 10 when, and that's the only time when you can actually use her S2, which is the zero form particle. If not, it will just be a wide angle, I believe. And you do not want to use it at like any other numbers other than 5 or 10, because I'm not sure that it goes above 10 actually. I have never tried, but yeah, you do not want to use it unless it has unless it changed to the zero form, unless or when you really need to delay both of them. So I also realized that if you use her Brave when they are unbroken, she will actually gain 2 stacks of her I believe it's called I can't remember what it's called. It's something darkness, I can't remember. But yeah, she'll get 2 stacks of it, so that's a very fast way of getting her 5 stacks. And also you will get an instant skill, an instant turn when you use the Brave and then you break one of the boss. You will instantly get another turn. Very similar to how Lightning works actually. And I didn't realize it, but Porom actually synergizes really well with Cloud of Darkness, because Porom hardly breaks the bosses. The only breaks I know that she has is her LD and her Brave Plus. Every single one of her other skills will never break the bosses, so it's kind of perfect for Cloud of Darkness. If I could have adjusted Porom's turn to go just before Cloud of Darkness instead of Garland, because every time Porom brings the boss down to 0 Brave, then Garland immediately takes a turn and just breaks the boss. But yeah, so if you're running Quistas, you can just bring Garland and then just burst with him. You know, he's still doing a ton of damage, as you can see. He's hitting cap. I brought a Garland friend, but if you are doing or running a Cloud of Darkness, you might actually want to go with Sephiroth if you manage to find a Sephiroth burst friend, because Sephiroth will always put them at 1 and then it will help Cloud of Darkness break them, you know. If you're running Quistas, then probably some of the one of the other delay characters, Sephiroth might not be as useful, you know. Someone like Garland, or maybe a Cloud of Darkness friend, so that you have some emergency, a backup for the 3-turn delay. Other than that, once you manage to get to this phase, you're more or less set, because the boss will never take a turn again. In fact, your only worry is the op count. And you also don't want them to take a turn, because when they have that red aura, right, I believe at least that they will instantly KO one of your character. But I could be wrong, because I believe the description that I read was when they drop past a certain health. But I'm seeing the red aura right now, So either way, you don't want them to take a turn. For this fight you actually don't really need much healing. I believe you can just use your calls if you really need to, or your summon like mine, Alexander. Okay, right here I actually brought in Garland because I was getting ready to burst with Cloud Darkness. I wanted Garland's aura to be up first. I also wanted Garland's burst to be active. Yeah, other than that I actually didn't really need to bring my friend Garland in, other than the burst effect, It's kind of nice to have, but not necessary when I go into the burst sequence with Cloud Darkness. But yeah, as I was saying, you don't really need much healing for this particular fight. I believe I got hit once with a AoE HP attack at the very beginning. I can't remember if it was this fight or my previous fight with Tifa, but all I remember was that I didn't really take much damage. It barely touched me. I believe it was like what? It didn't even hit to the thousands, and that's without any HP mitigation really. So yeah, you don't really need much healing, but bringing Porom here will definitely help with the amount of brave that you get, especially with Garland around. Right? I mean, with his EX, he was just hitting cap damage constantly. A few mistakes I made was that Porom LD actually dropped off. I didn't pay attention. To be honest, I wasn't really paying attention to the boss actually. It could be because I was tired from work, but yeah, this was my second round. I didn't even really understand the mechanics of this fight, other than reading through what Square Enix gave us and a few notes from Tom Mary Troop. But yeah, I wasn't really paying attention to my buffs, my debuffs, rather I didn't get any debuffs, but my calls, I basically just brought all the HP damage up I could bring. I believe I brought Paladin Cecile. I can't remember if it was this fight, but whatever the case is, it was basically 2 HP damage up and I believe the Jet Call for the increased brave damage. And you want to hold off with all these HP damage up unless you have a spare one. What I mean is that let's say both his calls actually apply damage increase or damage up. So I used one at the beginning of the fight when there was 2 bosses, and one more when they combine, because when they combine they actually cleanse all their debuffs, whether it's free. I'm not sure whether they will cleanse if it's gold, but as long as it's there's a debuff on them, they'll always cleanse it. That's all I know as of the way I was running. So I actually held off all my debuffs until they combine, and then just let them have it basically. And yeah, right here, I mean, Garland is gonna go. He's gonna retreat, disappear, go back. But I noticed that Cloud Darkness was going to take her turn before Garland, so I actually waited to use the burst until he had 0 turns left. I mean, it didn't really matter when I used it. I just wanted to bring the bosses down as close to 50% as possible. My usual mark when I would actually go into burst sequence or summon. But yeah. So for Cloud Darkness, you actually want to go into the burst sequence with as many stacks as possible, preferably 10, so that you can just spam your 0 particle beam. But I only went in with 6. So it is not ideal, but it can still work. Yeah, so basically if you're able to go in with 10 stacks, you can use 2 particle beam into your LD, into another particle beam, into your EX, and then maybe one of your other skills. I might be counting wrong, but yeah. And then into the burst. So that is the most damage I believe that you can do. Unless you can go in with more stacks than 10. I've never tried it. So if you can go in with more stacks, then just try and go in with more stacks and then just spam all the 0 particle beam in the world. But yeah, at this point of the fight, I was actually I didn't have to burst. I didn't even have to summon. I was in a very good spot. The boss was at double digit for the orb count at least, and I still had I believe 2 or 3 more LD usage. So the LD usage could have been, I mean, the LD was basically a panic button if the bosses were, or if the op count were to ever get too low. But I believe the lowest it went was 6, and that was because I purposely let it went down to 6. I mean, I could have just summoned, I could have used her LD, but I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I actually saw the turn order, and I saw that Cloud Darkness was coming up, so you know, wasn't really much of an issue. If you're using Quisters, then you know you might want to pay more attention to that. Another way to increase the op count is to basically burst with Garland, because the op count will not increase in the burst sequence. Oh, sorry, it will not decrease in the burst sequence, and because Garland delays with everything that he does, it will just constantly increase by 2 by 2 by 2. So you know, at the end of the burst sequence, you will go down by 1, so 14. So that's another panic button you can use if you're running Garland. Cloud's burst might work too, but you can only delay him once, which is an issue. So yeah, you might want to time it slightly better, I would say. And I'm not sure if the Lufenia, especially after they combine, whether they are still will they be immune to paralyze, because Raijin is he's boosted, so I'm guessing they are not. But you might want to do some research before you actually run a paralyzed team, because another thing is that if they take a turn, the op count will actually go down by 5, and that's a lot considering the fact that all other Lufenias it actually goes down by 2 only. So that is another thing to consider before you run a paralyzed team comp. You know, I'm not sure whether the op count will actually reduce by 5 even if they don't take a turn. So yeah, I also didn't know that Porum's Cry is able to stick the debuff. You know, as in because apparently when they merge or combine, they are actually immune to quite a few debuffs. Because I tried to use Gabroth to his S1 at least, because I know he applies defense down, and for some reason it didn't. The debuff did not appear on top of the boss, so I'm not sure exactly why that worked. And also another interesting thing is that Porum's S2 will not trigger Cloud of Darkness follow-up attack, but her S1 does. So I'm also not sure whether it's because the debuff landed, or whatever the case is, but I find it's really strange that both attacks doesn't do damage to the boss, but only her S1 triggers the follow-up. Like I said, it could be because of the debuff, but yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. So here we go, a very good showcase of how Porum works with Cloud of Darkness. Porum brings the boss's brave to 0, and Cloud of Darkness just finishes or breaks the bosses. And yeah, the fight is basically done. Garland has one more use of his LD. I should just really spam with it. I believe Porum also has one more of her twin cast. Yeah, and at this point of the fight, it really doesn't matter if I spam with them or not. In fact, I should have used it earlier, especially when it dropped off, but yeah, I wasn't really paying attention. So at 2%, Cloud of Darkness is gonna finish the boss off, you know. I actually thought that she'll be able to finish it with a 0 particle beam, but there was a launch, and you know, basically the whole team just finished the boss off, and yeah. I mean, not that I'm complaining, I managed to finish the Lufenia fight. But yeah guys, I hope that me explaining the mechanics and some useful characters will help with your Lufenia fight. There's not many choices for this fight because of the Orb Condition, but I hope you guys are still able to finish it. My artifact spheres as usual at the back, at the end of the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.